All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Do me a favor. Let me know how the audio sounds. This is something. If the audio is low, let me know. That would be greatly appreciated. Well, it sounds good on my end. All right. Good evening. Let's go. Waiting. Anyway, while we wait for the 5x5. All right. Very good. Thank you. So, guys, tonight's guest rather is my mother Spark. So she has a channel that is, I guess, starting to become a prepper channel. Not I guess, but it's starting to become a prepper channel. Thank you. And with that, she posted her first video about a raised garden in a baby pool, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, I've got raised gardens and baby pools.
So, with that, we've talked a couple of times now on the side with another prepper who I'm going to be, um, I guess, interviewing in another couple weeks. So his name is Vision Preparedness. I've been talking to him. So just to get that out there. So again, these people I talked to, level-headed. I like what they have to say. Her channel though is starting to pick up steam, if you will, with the whole prepping thing. So that's good. I don't. She didn't know quite what to do with her channel yet, and she found her legs, if you will. She does do religious readings as well, and that's something else she does. What Mondays? So
Mondays,
anyway,
yep.
do me a favor, explain to everybody exactly what your channel is, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so my channel originally started, my channel is a faith-based channel. So on Mondays is my faith, my Bible readings and or sharing my daily breads to help start off the week on a positive foot. Um, my mother passed away last year, and I wanted to turn everything that she taught me into a positive and sharing with other people. So basically, everything that she taught me being a single mother, I am sharing with the world, whether it be how to garden or how to prep, how to store food, canning, so forth. And this is what I'm building my channel into, everything my mother taught me growing up out to the world.
Very good. So you guys get a sense of that. So what you can do, being that this is, I'm going to say, a fairly new um, prepper channel, head over to her channel and give it a watch. And see what you think from there. Again, talking to her husband, Vision Preparedness, it's good conversation with good people, and it does last a while. So, hold on. Sorry. Seem to be
You're
lagging.
fine.
Sorry, because I'm looking. All right, whatever. So, with that, guys, we're going to dive right into the conversation. And tonight's conversation is going to be recession, Great Depression, or war, and which is going to come first. And if it does come first, which is going to be worse out of all three of them? Now, obviously, recession turns into a depression, um, but I'd like to ask you, what do you think is going to happen first?
I think we're actually already in the recession going into the depression. And honestly, I think war has already started with cyber attacks. So I think we're already in the mix of all three in the beginning of the depression, in the beginning of the war via cyber attacks, and then already going through the recession, of course.
Well, it's interesting because today the market did exactly what a lot of us didn't think it would do, and it actually went up. It did a lot better today than a lot of people thought. Also, guys, I have to mention real quick for those of you that might not know, Alaska Prepper is in YouTube jail. I do not know what this man said. He's pretty another guy who's pretty level headed and doesn't say bad shit. And he got in the YouTube jail before I did. At least with this prepper channel, I'm surprised that he beat me to it. Nonetheless, for those of you that are wondering where he is, if you are wondering, he's in YouTube jail. So head over to his channel, hit one of his playlists, and play through a lot of his videos to help the man get paid you know, uh, while he has a strike or he's in YouTube jail and he can't post anything. So that also helps YouTubers, by the way, guys. Head over to their channel and watch the playlist. It does help with the money that he's actually losing by being in YouTube jail. So, with that, now, how bad do you think the recession is going to get, and how long do you think it's going to last before it turns into a depression?
Um, I think it's already slowly turning into a depression with the supply chain being broke the way it is in different parts of the country. People are already feeling the depression part of it. I think it's just going to take a little bit of time for the entire United States to catch up. And you already have other countries feeling it as well with the riots with the food and so forth. So once everybody catches up, I don't think it'll take very long. I'm going to give it probably another couple months before the entire United States feels the start of the depression. And then once we hit across the board the depression, I think we're going to slam really hard into it full force, honestly.
Yeah, I get that sense that the what the federal interest rate going up another, 3/4 of a point, which they thought I could have sworn they were going to go up a full point, and then some people were like, no, they're just going to go up half. I'm like, there's no way. Well, they met us in the middle, and I think the next raise is either next month or September. I read somewhere September, and if it happens in September again and nothing is cooling off, we're definitely going to hit a full point next time around. And I think that full point is going to tank the market, which is going to put us into depression. But again, this
Hmm.
is all speculation. I'm not a financial analyst. This is just things that I'm listening to other financial analysts say.
Hmm.
But I mean, you are
Yeah,
right. Go ahead.
I think even with the half a point or the three quarters point, with as many people losing their jobs and as many small businesses that have shut down, just that little bit is enough to push at least half the country over the edge. So once it knocks up again, it's just going to push the rest of us and shove all of us off,
Which is yeah, which is going to be
unfortunately.
bad. I mean, I think a lot of us understand what a Great Depression in 2022 or 2023, whenever it happens, uh, we all know what it's going to look like, and it's going to be bad. I don't think a lot of us are going to be able to shake this. I don't think a lot of us are going to make it through the depression, let alone whatever is behind
Mm,
or after the depression. Listen, there
mhm,
are people. Suicide is up, and this whole murder
mm,
suicide is exploding in the country. I mean, we used to hear about it here and there, right? Now it seems like almost every day there's some family being offed by somebody in their family, you know?
mm.
And so,
It's hard with the suicide rates because um in my opinion, I think the medical field in mental health is lacking. And I can tell you this from personal family members struggling. It's more about the money of pushing the drugs than it is actually about helping the people cope with everything going on. And unfortunately, we've never faced anything like this in our lifetime. So, being hit with everything at once for people that don't have coping skills, it really, really affects them hard. And it's without having the mental health out there to help support the professionals, a lot of them anymore, they just don't. It's all about the money anymore, because everything else has crashed, they need to make that money. So I somewhat understand, but being on the other end, I don't think it's fair to only care about the money. Yeah, it's hard for people that are struggling that can't cope with these things coming all at once.
and that's the thing, right? The mental health is something that I think is going to go unchecked, but not. I think
Mhm,
it's going unchecked, and it's only going to get worse. There are going to be a lot of people out there offing themselves and their entire family. Um, there
mhm,
was just a lady that did it yesterday in Connecticut, right? Her and her three kids. At first the report came over that a lady and three kids were dead in the house, and then today they clarified it and said, yeah, it was a murder suicide. Um, I listen. I don't know. I'm not speaking to that case as to why she did it, like being that everything's going on, she couldn't handle it. I'm not saying that, but we are going to see more of that because there are
mm,
people who simply cannot handle stress. Now,
mm,
there is one side of me, and it's more the fucked up side of me, that is like, all right. Let's get it on. Let's get to this already. Let's see where this go, and let the best man be left standing. That's that side of me, and the reason why I'm approaching it from that angle, because if you approach it from any other angle, I think a lot of us are not going to make it. I think
Mhm.
if we sit there and we get scared and we overthink whatever's coming, a lot of us are not going to make it. I think it's going to be bad.
I agree with you. And something that we've always said in our family, even though it sounds silly, we don't think a zombie apocalypse is coming. But we've always said if we prepare for a zombie apocalypse, we're prepared for anything, truly.
Yeah.
So, the last 2 years we've preached for people to, get ready, stack up food, make sure you have your supplies. And you have a very small percentage of those people that have listened, and a majority of them just think everything is going to go back to normal, and it's just not. It's just not. So it is going to be a survival of the fittest, and who's been paying attention to the world events and preparing for them, unfortunately.
It's interesting listening to the MTA. I think it was the head of the MTA yesterday, last night, said that we are never getting back to what we were before the pandemic. And he was talking about the train ridership, people getting on the train and riding to work. And then I have a buddy who owns a gym downtown, CrossFit gym, and I've been attending the CrossFit classes there. And I was talking to him, and he goes, I don't think I'm going to get back the membership that I had. So I find it interesting that businesses downtown are taking this huge hit, and now people are starting to realize that this normalcy is never coming back.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's bad. And the worst part is, I had a buddy that I talk to pretty much every week. Um, was telling me that he's going to lose his business, and he's going to have to go back and find regular work. And I'm like, fuck, man, that sucks, because it he was, I guess he got away from corporate world or regular world, so he didn't have to deal with that shit, and now he has to go back to it
Hmm.
because he can't find people to work for him. That's the crazy shit. I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, hell, even I'm contemplating going back to work if this thing gets worse, but I don't know what I'd be doing. Bouncing, beating people up. I don't fucking know. I don't know what it would be. But um, what would be your solution to what's coming?
I don't think there is a solution to fix it. I think that people just need to build their communities and help each other try to get through it for as long as they can. I think we're too far past fixing anything, unfortunately. It's gone on for way too long. And really, at this point, you need to get to know your neighbors. You need to build your community, or mags, or whatever you all want to build, and help each other through whatever's coming, and stick together and stop letting the media and the politicians and everything divide you. Even though you have difference of opinions, the common goal is to survive through what's coming, and you have to pull together and do that, because the more they divide us, the easier it is going to be to conquer us.
Well, that you said it, and you put it in a great way. Um, Divide and conquer is getting a hell of a lot worse, man. A hell of a lot worse.
Hmm.
And it's even trickling into the prepper community with certain things. Again,
Hmm.
we have spoken about the bullshit in the YouTube community before, and that's the kind of shit we can't have happen. Now, I listen. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong. Everybody knows there are YouTube channels I don't like, but push come to shove, and unity, and for the greater good of humanity and this country, I would absolutely team up with a lot of those people. Actually, one of them is not an American, or at least not from the United States, but nonetheless, I would even work with him just to make sure that the continuity of us keep going. Um, but some of the, like I said, some of the childish shit we seen on here is fucking out of control. Right?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The petty stuff needs to be pushed aside. It's We're all adults. We really need to start acting like adults and realize that there's a bigger problem than some of the pettiness and the drama that's going on out there. And just don't fall into the drama that's going on, whether it be in your personal life or in YouTube. And there's a lot of it both in people's personal lives and in YouTube. The common goal, just, we're about to go to war and people are struggling and they're losing their houses, they're losing their jobs, they're losing their businesses. That's 10,000 times more important than who said what about somebody on a channel, or just pettiness. Put the pettiness aside. It doesn't matter. It's so small. It just doesn't matter, and pull together on the big issues.
Yes, absolutely. Um, I think we, like I said, the bigger issues that are coming. You know, I watched the trailer to this movie. It's a post-apocalyptic movie. Something about some planet that's like ready to smash into us. But before it does, humanity is, or society and humanity is breaking down. And in every movie we've seen, humanity doesn't break down like overnight, unless it's like, you know, I forgot what movie that was with Forrest Whitaker and that white kid traveling across the country to go get Forrest Whitaker's daughter. I think it's called How It. This is How It Ends, or something like that. That was a good movie, by the way. But even then, society is going to be able to fight the collapse. What I'm trying to say is that the collapse is not going to be as fast as we think it is. Social
Hmm.
dilemma. Yes, my I guess my internet is lagging because it's definitely lagging on this side. It's lagging on my side, and it's not lagging on my iPad. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. This is what I get for using this app again. Serves my ass right. I should have used Stream, but whatever. We'll get through this, guys. Hang in there. Um, so what is your? Do you have a bug out plan, or do you have a bug in plan, or both?
We actually have both. We actually have plan A, B, C, and D. So we plan on holding our ground as long as we can until we can't anymore, and then we have plan B, plan C, depending on what happens where. We have quite a few plans depending on what happens.
All right, that's good. Same here. It's plan like A to Z. I think we only have like plan E, some shit like that. No, maybe it's plan F. But I have a bunch of multiple backup plans and different directions I can go in from here. Um, that's the beauty of it. And there's even a lot of stopping points along the way, which is again the beauty
Mhm.
of it.
Mhm.
So yes, guys, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival had said he just saw 7AC-130s heading south to New York City. That was early today, and I missed it. But I did see what looked like, what was it, A-10s, the Warthawks. It looked like those flying down the city, and a Black Hawk simultaneously flying in the opposite direction. Um, and now there's a rumor of a dirty bomb that was diffused. Sorry, refused. It was diffused, but again, it's a rumor. I know that the guy Israel Live News doesn't lie, but I haven't heard anything from any of my sources, if you will, here in the city. So I'm still waiting to see if it's true or not. The only reason why I'm not dismissing that rumor is because of all of the military air vehicles, if you will, that I've seen over the last 2 3 weeks have increased. Um, so there's something to be said about that. But uh, listen, it is what it is. If I'm glowing in the dark by the end of the what you call it, how it ends. Vision Preparedness said the movie is called How It Ends. Yes, thank you, Vision. And by the way, guys, Vision will be on next month. I'll give you the correct date in a little bit. So, can you, are you physically capable? And I should be asking everyone this question, but it just dawned on me. Uh, are you physically capable to bug out on foot if you had to?
I am. I am. My job is actually very physical. I throw things 8 hours a day that are between 50 and 75 pounds all day.
Okay,
So I might be small, but I have a freakishly weird weight. Like I can throw some shit.
very good, very good. Now, I guess this. I mean, this is an easier question. Are you proficient in firearms?
I am. Actually, my husband takes me shooting quite often, and we enjoy going indoor and outdoor. And then one of our friends is a CWP instructor, so we go out on the range to have active shooting, to where you move around from bit to bit and, take cover and so forth.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I need more of that kind of training because I'm not getting that shit here. Cleaner 100, if I said that right, said you can get rid of mental disabilities through nature. Yes, you can. There's a lot you could do through nature. All right, very good. So, what is your opinion on the Third World War? Now we know that it's starting, but do you think it's going to get out of hand, or do you think we're going to be bullied into a submission?
I think it's going to be a fight. I don't think that we're going to be bullied into submission. I think the administration is probably honestly going to just hand us over. They've already started. I'm not a big fan of our administration. I'm not a big fan of the politicians in general. But I think once the boots are on the ground, because there is so many of the population that has weapons, it is going to be a fight tooth and nail for them to take this country. But I do actually think it's coming to our territory eventually.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. That's what I'm thinking too. Again,
Hmm.
all of the signs point towards us being um, attacked, invaded. Like every little thing I'm looking at, and military guys. Sorry, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm lagging on fucking YouTube now. Whatever.
No,
Well,
you're fine.
yeah. I was just looking. I'm like, why does it? Someone said it looks like a kung fu flick, and I'm looking. I'm like, holy shit! I'm looking. It's like a bad kung fu flick. He was right. Anyway, um, there was an audio I was listening to. Somebody from TikTok put a video on Instagram of a guy who was talking about two of his buddies that work in, not work, but they are in the National Guards. So one was the National Guards in Massachusetts, a regiment in Massachusetts. No one says regiment anymore, I guess. And another one was here in New York State. And New York State was ordered to start moving ordnance around at night for whatever reason. They were a blackout kind of thing, no lights, no anything. And then he contacted his buddy in Mass, and his buddy in Mass said the same shit, but that they were taken to New York and said that they were going to they were going to be there longer than they should be. They were told they were going to be there a week. Now they're going to be there indefinitely.
Hmm.
So listen, it's bad if that is true. The problem is all of this is rumors, even coming from a guy that talked to his buddies. It's still rumors until it's not. Until we're looking at actual war or actual fucking Chinese on our soil or Russians on our soil. We can only
Hmm.
say that this is rumor right now.
I believe that there's movement at night though, because where I live, I could throw a stone and hit the nearest military base. And
Really?
we live very near a train track that goes through that base. And there has been a lot of a lot more movement at night than usual, as well as the weight of the train. And the reason I can say that is because of how close we are to the train tracks that are on the base depends on how it shakes the house. So at night, in the middle of the night, they have been carrying a lot more heavy loads than they have in the last 5, 6 years, more often. Not just the weight of them, but the frequency of them is, I mean, it's every couple hours, 2, 3 hours, it's shaking our house. And we're up all hours of the night. So we realize this, we pay attention to this when most people are sleeping, we notice it. Same thing with the military crafts going over. A lot of them are going at night when most people are sleeping. We're noticing that they're coming out more often in the middle of the night and they're like an hour apart and we're counting 10, 15, 20 planes going out from the base all in a row an hour apart or half hour apart, which is just not normal, hasn't been normal for 5, 6 years. So as far as them moving at night, I would have to agree with that because we're noticing more traffic at night where we are.
Shit. All right. Again, so everybody's seeing this military increase, movement rather, increase around the country. because I got people emailing me telling me that things are looking weird. Prepper Tribe, by the way, he's been filming a lot more military activity in his area. If I'm not mistaken, he lives close by a base as well, and that is picked up. I mean, listen, the intense standoff, or rather tension, sorry, that we are getting in with China and Russia, that makes sense. That means that something here is real, and they're trying to,
Mhm.
I don't want to say avoid it, but they're definitely getting ready for it in case it happens. And
Mhm.
I think they know it's going to happen, but they're going to keep the
Mhm.
rest of the public in the dark. We are speculating. Everything I'm saying is speculation. Even with all of the signs that I said point to an invasion, it's still speculation at this point, because we're not going to know until it's time for us to know, and until it happens.
Yeah, they're definitely not gonna warn us ahead of time because it'll cause mass panic, and nobody's gonna be able to get out anywhere. They're not gonna be able to control the crowds. But something people really need to realize, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers are already aware, is there's already sleeper cells around the United States, and a lot of people don't even know what a sleeper cell is, but they're already here, and especially the last couple years with our border being open and, all the ships out there off both coasts and by Venezuela and so forth, they have free movement right now. They once those borders went down, they started letting people flood in, and I'm not saying all those people are up to no good, but some of those people, I can tell you for sure, are up to no good at all, and they're part of sleeper cells. Um, I can tell you that from my background because my job is actually in security, so I do get a little bit of this information. And some of those people that have been stopped at the border, just by chance, actually are part of groups that shouldn't be here. But of course, nobody's going to catch everyone. So there are sleeper cells out there, and people need to be very aware when they go out in public and pay attention.
Well, that's very telling, and see, and again, we've all watched the military lie, right? Again, I talk about like the whole dirty bomb here in New York City being diffused, right? That is a possibility, but again, no hard concrete evidence yet. And the problem with me is like I need to have like eyes on it. I got to be looking at it and like, okay, right, that's a bomb. But there were a few weird things that happened during 9/11 when I was there that day that weren't reported. So that's why when people tell me certain things happened, I definitely pay attention to it, and I don't shrug it off all the way. The only thing I shrug
Mhm.
off are fucking people telling me, oh, the Earth is flat and spam is good. I shrug that bullshit off. But anything else, I definitely listen to. Um, yeah. So if we were, all right, let's put it like this: Are you ready for whatever is coming our way?
I am to the best of my ability. I've been mentally preparing for this for the last year. We've kind of seen it ever since they shared the news of the virus coming out of where it came out and watching them lock people down in other countries the way that they did. I knew eventually that that was going to come here. So we've been preparing really physically, mentally, with our stock, our preps, and so forth, heavy for the last couple years because we know it's coming. So um, we're going to do our best to try to survive, and um, hopefully nobody comes through our door because they're not going to make it very far.
Well, then that's good. That's good that listen. I think again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. The whole prepper community is looking like we're doing good. We're getting ready for this, and again, we are paying attention. So if something happens between, let's say, tonight and the next 5 years, we have our finger on the pulse per se.
Hmm.
Again, that bad feeling, like the video I did. The only problem with that video, and I didn't mention it, was that when I was looking, I remember in the vision when I was looking at the TV and it looked like an area view of a destruction. I remember saying we were somewhere else, but we weren't in Wildwood, so I got confused when I thought about it after I did the video, when I thought about it, I'm like, maybe it wasn't the 4th of July weekend, but it was definitely something that was, it was really vivid. And the buildings in
Mhm.
the buildings that were destroyed, whatever was flying over, and I'm assuming it was a helicopter, whatever was flying over, had to have done this days after the incident. And I remember the people in the room were watching the TV with me, and one of them was my wife, and another kid and a guy that were there. But we weren't watching, and we weren't shocked and all. We weren't like, "Oh my God!" We were looking at this as if this happened a few days ago, and we're getting updates. So that was something I left out of that video because I was still trying to gather what was going on. But now thinking about it, I'm like, whatever's going to happen, it's going to be bad. And unfortunately, we don't know what it's going to be because we got too many things now on the board, right? We have this recession that's going to lead into another depression. We got the possibility of World War II. We got food shortage, bad weathers. I mean, people's cars are getting struck by lightning on the road,
Mhm.
which is pretty rare. But maybe because we have so
Mhm.
many cameras, we're seeing them more often. I don't know. We have supply chain issues it's still at a crawl. We have a strike with the railroad happening. It should have happened yesterday, actually, but I didn't hear anything about it. I mean, so many things are being thrown at us. What do we do? And and how do we combat that for ourselves? Because, like you said earlier, we can't stop what's coming, and we can't change a lot of people's minds. So then, how do we uh, help each other out on that front?
People need to pay attention to each other. Um, when I say that, I mean, I know it sucks to keep telling people to prep, and it gets old. And to an extent, a lot of us have stopped because we've preached till we were blue in the face. But eventually, you're going to get through to some of those people. So even if it's not preaching as heavy as you were originally, still mention it every once in a while. Just, bring something up like, hey, did you know this is going on here? Hey, did you know that's going on over there? This just happened. They just did a PSA in New York. Mention these things, and eventually a light bulb will click with some of them. So, I mean, don't preach like we were every day, all day. Hey, prep, 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 but just drop little hints, little seeds here and there and let them grow on their own. And then as they do start realizing really what's going on in the world, because people that are now starting to realize they're seeing everything at once, and it's kind of putting their brain into overdrive and panic mode to something that we've seen gradually over the last 2 years.
Right.
So you really need to just check in on the people and be like, okay, you know what? Yes, that's going on. However, here's what you can do in order to prepare for that. Oh, what? There's ships out there. Okay, well, here's what you can do if you have to stay in your home. Or have you thought about if you can't stay in your home, a place for you to go? So there's ways to help each other and build each other up and support each other without preaching like we were trying to thump into their heads, pay attention, turn off MSN, and watch everything else in the back channels and what's going on.
No, definitely, you're right about that. And then a couple of people were saying, I think Carl was one of them. He was saying that, yeah, because I stopped, you know, telling people about it, or trying to get people to. And listen, you know what? Like you said, yeah, I guess maybe we should mention it, or we come across somebody that we're like, maybe they should, we should tell them X, Y, and Z. Um, yeah, listen, I don't preach it anymore. I don't sit there and just like talk to a person. First of all, you talk to anybody in New York City out of the fucking blue, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. But when you sit there and you start telling people like, oh yeah, I prep, and they go, not that I prep, but they'll see me like, oh, do you really have all that stuff? And I go, yes and no, and some cases I'll straight up and down lie to motherfucker's face. Like, nah, that's just for show, because I get the feel that the person's not who I want to know, about this shit. And
Mhm.
then other people, I'm like, yeah, man. I said, because do you see what's going on? And then they'll go, yeah, man. It's fucked up. A lot of things aren't working out, and things are changing, and they're not going to go back. And one lady in the store went into like full rant. And I was like, holy shit, lady, take it easy. You know, I was, I was like, she's like, well, what are we supposed to do? I'm like, you're supposed to get ready. So you're supposed to get
Mhm.
food, water for months, if not years at a time.
Mhm.
She's like,
Mhm.
really? She goes, I remember this and I'll never forget that. I can do that? And I was like, what? I didn't say that to her, but I looked at her like, yeah, man, you can do that. Like, why wouldn't you? She was like, well, I just thought that it was a bit over the top. I'm like, I'd rather be over the top and eating and living comfortably than fucking, caught with my pants down and getting fucking screwed by the government because I have to wait in line now for fucking a piece of bread and a cup of soup. You know, we've all saw
Yep.
those food lines during the Great Depression. You know,
Mhm. With all the vouchers, yep.
right?
Yeah.
And Viking Prepper just said crime is up 37% in the city. Absolutely. You know what's up in the city too that they don't talk about? The mental illness and the psych patients running around fucking doing dumb shit every day. You see this every day. And it's even getting to a point now where in maybe one or two cases I had to look over my shoulder because the dude that was like circling in the train station was like he stopped and he looked at me and I looked at him like if no, I'm like if this goes down, this is gonna go down fucking fast. And he just looked and he kept walking in a circle. I'm like, the fuck is he doing? So now I'm a little more curious as to why he's walking in a circle. I'm like, so anyway, now of course today the wife and I we're talking about moving. We're just like we've been looking everywhere in New York City and out in Westchester. We can't find a fucking thing. So I'm like, I guess the only other option, and I said, we're gonna have to leave the city, New York. She's like, yeah, but what are we gonna do once we get there? I'm like, we will fucking figure it out. But I said, it's not worth
Mhm.
living here. Um,
Mhm.
so she's like, and I said, listen, I work on the channel a little more. I'll try to boost it a little more. That's it's the best I can do because I can't work for another motherfucker. I just can't. If I'm not fucking getting my hands dirty or running into a burning building or getting into some shit, I can't sit at a desk and do a 9 to 5, and she knows that. You know. Oh,
I think a lot of the 9 to 5s are gonna be gone here soon anyways.
yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
I think a lot more businesses are gonna shut down than already have. But to go back to your comment before about, your vision, that's something I actually wanna bring up, is I've noticed more and more people having visions and dreams, and people need to pay attention to their dreams, write them down. I actually am a dreamer, so when I hear someone else have a dream or a vision that is literally what I dreamt and didn't share with anyone, it's kind of creepy. But you also have to beware when you have those visions and those dreams that it's not the media or whatever movie you're watching the night before that's affecting those dreams. But definitely keep a record of dreams and visions because um, God has a way of showing people what's coming to prepare them.
Well, it's interesting you said that because what I just found interesting is that a lot of my dreams I have, I can't remember them. Like you wake up, you can remember them right away, and then a week later, I'm like, what the fuck was I dreaming about Tuesday? Right? You can't do that. But this one, I can't get rid of it. I can't forget if I was to whack my head against the wall right now. Like it's just there. But it was that one part of the dream. Um, it was that one part of the dream where I was like, again, we were looking at the TV and looking at this, and none of us were shocked. We were just sitting there like, oh, this is fucking bad. But we didn't say anything. There was nothing being said in the dream other than we were just staring at the TV. So why can I remember something like that still to this day? But yet, again, another dream that I had. Actually, I had a dream the other day where I was talking to one of my kids' mothers about this shit getting bad, and all she said was like, "Yeah, I know." And I thought that was interesting because I don't dream of other people like that, and
Mhm.
especially not the other kid's mother. And she was my mother. We had this conversation, and that's all she said, and then that was it. The dream was over. So I found that to be
Mhm.
interesting as well. That was 2 nights ago, 2 3 nights ago. Um, but again, the other side of me, the more responsible side of me, would like to say, well, shit, man, is this because we're in overdrive right now? Every fucking thing on the news is driving us insane, right? We got
Mhm.
monkeypox, we got the the revenge of COVID. We
Monkeypox.
got the new vaccine for this and a new arm ticket for that. We got Russia threatening us constantly. China now threatening us because of Pelosi. I'm like, please take that bitch. Um, we got all these
She can
these
stay there.
these things happening, and so when you go to sleep, is that
Hmm.
manifesting in our dreams? That's the bigger question.
And it absolutely can be. Yep, it absolutely can be. And that's why I say write them down, because if it's not something that's manifested from something you've watched before, it will eventually start piecing together and will start coming true. And it may not come true a week or 2 weeks or a month down the road, maybe a year down the road, but at least you have it written down so that you can pay attention to what you've written. Another thing is if you have visions or dreams, and like you said, you had this vision and you were like, wow, this sucks, but you weren't freaking out. You weren't freaking out because you're prepared. If people are having those dreams or those visions and they're freaking out or they're scared, they're lacking in preparation somewhere and they need to figure out where they're lacking in their preparations.
Because it's I guess that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. All right. Always an asshole, and it was an asshole comment, but whatever. Um, so what do you think? Okay, so what is your prediction for the rest of this year? We only have what, 5 months left, right? Is my math right? Yes, we have 5 months left. What do you think is going to happen for the rest of this year?
I think we're going to have another shutdown that's going to be worse than the first.
Okay.
I think that stores are going to be more empty shelves across the board, not just in spots. And I think there's going to be more people on the streets because they're not going to be able to pay their mortgages and their bills.
Okay, that's okay. We entered morbid hour. Um,
Sorry.
no, no. It's
You
just,
asked, I'm honest.
and in Hudson Valley
It
prepping
sucks, but
survival, we're all gonna
that's where
die.
I see us going.
No, you're right. You're right. Listen, it it's not looking good. So whatever the hell happens first, it's not looking good. But I also don't want to, me personally, don't want to get too wrapped up in it. Because for example, I use this all the time. The 2012. People thought that 2012 the Earth was going to crack in two, and a giant fucking spaceship was going to come out of space, and fucking 20-foot Rosie O'Donnell's were going to come walking out and fucking eating people, right? And it
Mhm.
didn't happen. Some people thought a black hole was going to appear. There was going to be a portal leading us to another world, and none of that. And people were fucking convinced that this was going to happen. So,
Mhm.
with all of this stuff, like the midterm elections being canceled and the next election being canceled, that is, I try not to get too involved. But I mean, like, how could you not, right? We're watching all of these things happen, and we're like, what the fuck, man? Like, something has got to break. Something's got to fucking get bad. But we're
Mhm.
like on this, like I said with the survival preppers, we're like in this fucking slow burn. This thing that's moving so fucking slow. It's like, all right, man, get to it already. Like let's get to the plot,
Mhm.
the thick of the story, and let's let this fucking rip. But we're not getting there. We're just moving at a snail's pace.
I think part of that is because the people are not divided as much as they would like us to be. I think that they continue to have these stories out there and um, all this BS going on to divide people, and people are not as divided as they thought they would be at this point. So they're stalling. That's my perspective on it. There's too many people pulling together.
Yeah, you know what? That I guess you're right. I mean, you're right, and then yeah, because I mean, but I also see the opposite. I also see a lot of people not pulling together. Again, I use
Mhm,
I use the prepper community as an example.
mhm,
Without bullshit, without our differences. We have the Republican and the Conservative Party looking like they're splitting. At least with the Republican Party and those fucking rhinos screwing everything up, or
mhm.
rather siding with the Democrats and the liberal, or siding with the World Economic Forum and their BS. Um, yeah, it's just such a slow burn, man. It's like I'm like, yo, let's get it on already. I want to fucking, throw Molotov cocktails at certain people and fucking run out of the city. I want to test my fucking skills. And the wife and I were talking about it, and she wasn't happy about the conversation, but I was like, yo, shit's gonna get real, and shit's gonna get
Mhm,
dirty. And I said,
mhm.
don't be surprised. And she's like, She goes, I'm not. She goes, because I'm seeing what's going on and I'm not liking it. I said, well, then you better hold it together because for us to get through this, we all got to hold it together. So I talk like this to her to give her the idea that this shit's going to get bad, whatever the fuck it is. And we can't sit there
Mhm.
and think, we can't sit there and think that this is going to get better. Now we can hope to a blue in the face, but I don't see, I don't see this getting better. At the very least, I see this moving at a slower pace. You know,
It is. It is. And I think a lot of the stuff out there too is distraction. Um, like the stupid Johnny Depp trial and like the new bit of space junk or missile or shuttle, whatever's going to come in to the planet again from China. Like it seems like it's a quarterly thing now.
yeah.
Like there's another piece coming, and it seems to be like quarterly. And it to me those are all stupid distractions to keep people zoomed in on the little stupid stuff than paying attention to the whole picture so that they can prepare. It's a lot of stupid stuff. People have got to start thinking for themselves, and I think that's a big part of the problem in the world is people stopped thinking for themselves and started following the masses. And that is a huge, huge problem. Is take a step back. We were always told take a step back, and look from outside of the box. You know, but people aren't doing that anymore. They're following whatever the news is telling them, or whatever their politicians within their city are telling them. You can't do that. You've got to think for yourself, because a lot of the stuff we're being fed is honestly it's bullshit, and you have to be able to weed through those things and figure out what's real and what's not, and verify the truth instead of just taking it for whatever they're saying.
Well, that's the thing, man. I We've become a society, all of us have become a society that's comfortable with relying on something tomorrow, right? And you could
Mm-hmm.
thank fucking Amazon for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of people, that's probably why a lot of businesses online and stores lost out because their items not coming tomorrow or right this minute. And Amazon did that. So now we're all looking for that same kind of help with
Mm-hmm.
I guess with politicians. We're looking for the help tomorrow, and it just doesn't come that
Yeah.
way. And then I remember I made a comment, some fucking bitch, some chick in Texas made a comment, talking about how the government is not like you can't rely on the government. And this bitch is like, well, the government of people too. I'm like, asshole. That's my point. My point is that people too, and they can't be relied upon. And you can't look at the government and say, oh, the government's good for this and not that. No, the government sucks. When it comes to
Yes.
us needing to be a country again, our current administration, or rather for the last 30, 40 years, this country
Mm-hmm.
has been fucking wrecked and controlled by fucking
Mm-hmm.
corporations, right? And so every time a fucking guy wants to run for presidency, some dick faced corporation comes in like, yo, you gonna make my fucking the land that I want in South Dakota happen? And we're like, well, if you vote for me, I'll get that land for you
Mm-hmm.
for less taxes. And the guy goes, deal, right? And he throws all this money into the campaign, and then 6, 8 months later, that guy gets his land tax free, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we all miss that. We all don't pay attention to that. We all think that the government is for our better interest, and they're not. They haven't been for a long time. I mean, listen, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
the government does the right thing, but and then other times they don't. Like recently, I just found out this national registry, driver's registry, license registry bullshit. I didn't know that was a fucking thing till today. So they're saying, they said like if I get a ticket in Ohio and I don't pay it off,
Mm-hmm.
they could suspend my license here. I'm like, when the fuck did that start? I was on the phone with a lady. She was like, oh, that started maybe a year or two ago. I go, when the fuck
Mm-hmm.
was anybody going to tell me about this? So I learned the hard way with that stupid registry bullshit. I'm like, and how come
Mm-hmm.
nobody was fighting this? I'm like, so what I do in another state is gonna follow me here, and get me in
Mhm,
trouble. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. So whatever. I solved my issue, but it's just I didn't. Again, there goes the government fucking overreaching and wanting you to fucking be controlled no matter where you are. I'm like, yo,
yep,
if I'm speeding through Nebraska, because who the fuck likes being in Nebraska anyway? and you want to get to that state as fast as possible. I get a
Mhm.
ticket in Nebraska, and I don't pay it, I can get suspended here. That makes no sense to me, you know?
Mm. Yep, I agree with you. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what it's called, but the driver's license, it's, across the board, across the United States. And as far as the government helping us, um, I have come to the realization over the last year that it doesn't matter which group of politics you're in, they're all going for the same agenda. They're all working together to get to the same goal. So I know a lot of people won't agree with me as far as, it's a Democrat problem or a Republican problem or a conservative problem. They're all working together to tear us apart, unfortunately. That's how I feel anyway. That's my opinion.
No, no.
But I don't think there is no good or bad side anymore. I think they all have the same agenda.
No, you're right about that. Definitely. I know somebody was just saying Nebraska's better than New York City. Fuck no. I drove through Nebraska. God, like
It's
I've heard people
flat.
talk about it. It's fucking flat and boring. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, get me out of this fucking state. It was like 4 hours. No, maybe it was 5 or 6 to get out of it. As soon as we entered it, I was like, fuck. I needed like no dose, Coke, Mountain
Mhm.
Dew, all of that shit to keep me awake because it's nothing but corn for fucking ever. You might see a truck
Yep.
stop and
Yep.
you go, oh man. Then out of the truck stop, more corn. I'm like, fuck this place. I'm never coming back to this place. But
Yep. It's funny you said Nebraska because that's one of the few states I actually got a speeding ticket in. So
no
it's
shit.
funny you use that state. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
when I was driving through it, I had the fucking pedal on the ground. I was like, get me
Mhm.
the fuck out of here, and I couldn't get out fast enough.
It's
And
awful.
yeah,
Yep.
and it was like if the road just kept stretching to keep me there. I was like, this place
Mhm.
blows, But I know that there were nice parts, but I was on I-80, and I-80 through Nebraska is just super fucking boring. Pretty sure there
Mhm.
might be a better road that's more scenic, but that road you wanted to kill yourself. And then to boot, I was looking in the cornfield for either kids or aliens because I'm like, yo, there's a lot of fucking corn around here. I'm like, holy shit, man. But
You
whatever.
didn't pull over and go exploring in the field?
No, I didn't want because I didn't want to get snatched and then never seen again. He went to take a piss. We don't know what happened to him. Now I'm missing. Or worse, I walk in too deep and I get lost in a cornfield, and then I'm screaming for help because fucking I get lost in there. There
I'm
was
sure
actually
children will find you.
there was a family that got lost in a cornfield maze at a
Mm.
farm. They were walking around and they couldn't get out, and they had to call 911, and the fire department had to come and get them out. I was like, "You fucking kidding me?"
Really?
Yeah, a corn maze in a farm. It wasn't like they were like, and it wasn't that big of a corn maze. They did an aerial shot. They're like, if you got lost in there, you should go play in traffic. I don't know, walk off a short pier because it was bad. And it's embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Firemen were laughing at them when they were
Awesome.
bringing them out.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Those are the people that aren't gonna survive here very soon, unfortunately.
No, those people are going to die. Yeah, they without a doubt, they're dead. Whatever happens next, they're gone. If they couldn't get out of a fucking corn maze, they're not getting out of what's coming next, man.
Mm-mm.
That is on them.
Mm-mm. Yeah, definitely not.
Marie, I'm going to be visiting Montana and Colorado soon. I'm looking to do a cattle drive. Because I told the wife, I'm like, yo, I'm bored. I cannot fucking stay here. I'm like, I'm, you know, I said, I got to do something. So I said, I want to do a cattle drive. And she's like, really? I go, yeah, like City Slickers with fucking, but without Billy Crystal and this guys. And she's like, all right. I said, I always wanted to do it. My father always wanted to do it, actually. He never got to do it. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm at the right age to do it. So I'll be visiting Montana and actually Wyoming and Montana. I'll be visiting. Colorado, if I can get to it, I'm going to rent a car and go down there. Yeah,
Have you been to
Jamie and
Colorado
Chris.
before?
Huh?
Have you been to Colorado before?
I've drove through Colorado. I've never actually stayed in Colorado. Yeah, but
I
I'm
grew up there. That's why I was asking.
okay. Yeah, no, I'm looking to visit. I'm looking to visit. There's a couple of things I want to do out in the Midwest. Probably before the end of this year, before the shoe drops. I think that we
Mhm.
have a little time, but I don't think we have that much time. But
Mm-mm.
I also don't want to sit here and go, I'm not planning anything because of something that might happen. You know. So
Mhm.
that's the other
Yep.
that's the other danger with being a prepper, right? A lot of us are like, yo, next year, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But I'm like, yeah, but we still plan our lives. You got some
Hmm.
people saying, oh, I'm not planning anything because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, and so if it doesn't happen for the next 5 years, you're gonna not do something you want to do because of that. I say, we got to think about both of them.
Hmm. There's got to be a balance.
Yeah, yeah. Prepping for it, so your balls are gonna hurt and your legs. That's all right.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. So I'll do like a million squats before I go on this trip. Yeah, I always wanted to
Yeah,
do
that
it.
won't matter.
Yeah, all right. I always wanted to do it, and one of the farms is like a hard working farm, so you actually have to work. It's called free. It's probably called fucking. I'm paying to be a slave. How about that, huh? As long as no one has a whip and they're singing Negro spirituals, it should be fine. But yeah, you're paying to do hard work, which is weird. Sort of like
Yep.
paying to get crushed at a gym. Like
It's going to
that's
be a whole different physical activity.
right, right. And that's the
It's
kind of
totally
feeling.
different. Hmm.
Colorado's great, but the mountains are cold in winter. I'll come
Yes.
back. Yeah.
Actually, technically, there's snow on Pikes Peak all year round.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Someone said, "What part of Montana?" I gotta get. I'll Mama preps for. I'll get you it later, but I forgot what the two areas were, and I don't want to pull it up now. But it was border Wyoming into Montana because the farm goes right into Montana. Not so much Colorado. Sorry, Colorado I think is a little west of it. Missouri is a constitutional state. It's a Negro spirituals. All right, guys. So where are we right now? Oh shit. We're doing pretty good for time, and we're doing a lot. So again, guys, this is my mother Sparks. Give her channel a shot, a chance. Take a look. I know you guys like what you heard. She's not a kook. She's not crazy. She didn't say anything off the wall. And very responsible in the way she comes across in her videos. So that's more important. I think what's more important with a lot of YouTubers is that they come across responsible and not say off the wall shit like, yo, I wear tin foil under my hat to keep the 5Gs from fucking getting into my brain. That's some crazy shit. And it doesn't work, but it's still some crazy shit. But, again, responsible. Yes, Dan Phillips, AP Brokeback Mountain. That's all the jokes I'm probably gonna get. And wait till I get a Stetson. Oh shit, it's gonna get real. Black guy with a Stetson. You guys are gonna fucking see it all over Instagram. That's for sure.
They're all over Colorado.
Yeah, yeah, no. Someone's like,
Hmm.
you should get a cowboy hat. I'm like, and
Hmm.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong in this thinking, but a cowboy hat should be earned. Like I know a lot of people go there and they go, oh man, look at like a sombrero. They go there, they put it on. But I looked at cowboy hats as something that should be earned when you're working like on a farm or you're working at a ranch. I don't think you should just get one to get one. I think it should be given to you out of respect because that's a culture. Cowboy and cowgirls, I guess it's a culture. It's a way of life. It's not some shit that you just put on your head and you yeehaw and it's real shit. So that was my outlook on cowboy hats. It's probably why you would never see me with one on. I do wear brim hats when I go camping, but those are more camping style outdoor hats. I wouldn't wear a cowboy hat. But again, that's me. That's all. You know, cowboy
You'll
hat.
probably get one in Montana.
Say again?
If you bust your ass the way I'm thinking you're going to in Montana, I'm going to assume you'll probably get one then.
That'd be cool. That wouldn't be bad. Vision preparedness said correct. So I mean, unless I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the culture, but that's how I always looked at it. I always looked at it as a badge of honor, right? That's how that's how I looked at it. A Kango. They don't sell Kangos anymore. Wait, do they sell Kangos? I don't know. I haven't seen one of them in a long time. So, guys, again, head over to her channel. Please do me that solid. Do her that solid. You're not going to regret it. Other than that, guys, I think we're going to go off the end. Unless you want to say anything else.
I could talk all night, but I'm not going to.
That is true. And uh, that is true. But yeah, so guys, we're going to go off the air. So again, head over to her channel, please. Like and subscribe. Also, let me get you the rundown for the next couple of weeks. So next week, Tuesday, guys, August 2nd, we have Appalachian PIA. August 2nd, August 9th, we have Catskill NY Prepper. August 16th, Vision Preparedness, who's been in the chat all night. We have Apocalyptic Ben, August 23rd. And we have Heroic Prepper, August 30th. And then I'm going to invite a couple more people in September, provided we're not glowing in the dark by then. All right, guys. So, again, other than that, thank you for joining us tonight. I will. Christian Prepper, no. No Angry Truth tonight. I'm going to work on the channel a little more, and starting August, I'm gonna go like full steam ahead with that channel. Come up with more what you call it. AP, do you sleep? Vision, I am going to sleep now after this shit. I have to get some sleep. I gotta wake up early. That's another reason why I'm not doing the Angry Truth tonight. All right. So, guys, again, you will see her back on the channel. By the way, I'm gonna invite her to the ladies' night on YouTube with other females. So you will see her again. All right, guys. Other than that, good night.
Thank you, Jason.
Not a problem.